fourth chapter, moving charges and magnetism, and here is the topic called Biot-Savart's law. Make it clear, Biot-Savart's law is an experimental law, means it is proved or verified. So it is a law which is called experimental law, which deals with the magnetic field, make it clear, which deals with the magnetic field at a point due to current carrying element. Good morning. Current element. What is this now, current element? Current element andre yenu? The portion of a wire where length is small is current element. Biot-Savart's law uses current element. Biot-Savart's law, I am talking about the Biot-Savart's law. It is an experimental law which makes use of a current element. I am discussing regarding what is the meaning of current element. Current element. This also becomes important for 1 mark. Current element and the length dl of a very small segment. Very small segment. Make it clear, very small segment. Segment means what? Some portion. You have a total wire. In this total wire, if I consider only this much of the force, this much of the length, that is called dl, length dl, then how much is the current flowing in it? Is I. The product of current and the length element ideal is called current. Video struck here. Length element, 1 mark definition completes here. I am repeating what is length element. Length element is the product of current and the portion of length or a fraction. It is a something what is called as a loop like structure, segment of segment, fine. So current element is the product of current I and the length dl of a very small segment of a current carrying wire. Length of a segment of current carrying wire in a one portion, that is called length element. Make it clear, that is called length element. So here length element and current element, dl is length element, ideal product of current and length element is nothing but current element. Don't forget about that, current element, right? So current element ide, current element ina use ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. We are finding the magnitude of the magnetic field experienced by a point or the charge or anything which is kept at a particular distance. We are keeping one, which is the field due to this current carrying element. Intention to explain the Biot-Savart's law. Inside the Biot-Savart's law is a basically experimental law which makes use of the length element, current element. Current element is the product of current flowing in the length dl segment of a current carrying wire. Fine, that gives an ideal, I said you. So this current element is a vector represented as ideal. Our topic is Biot-Savart's law. Current element I am talking about. Current element is written as ideal and it's a vector form and it's a vector quantity. Current element is a vector quantity, don't forget about that. So its direction is tangent. How and where the direction is mentioned? The direction is tangent, means it's like a line touching to the portion. Line touching to the portion they are talking about. So here ideal is a vector, source of a magnetic field. You know very well, current carrying conductor produces the magnetic field. So now this element is a source of magnetic field. Is a source of magnetic field. Make it clear, it's a source of magnetic field. Just as a charge is a scalar source of electric field is a vector. Similarly, current is a scalar, but current element is a vector. Current element is a vector. Make it clear. Fine. Then next, statement is important for 3 marks. If it is asked for 5 marks, you should feel very happy and lucky, because hardly small one diagram and 4 sentences along with the small mathematical steps, and finally one or two mathematical steps. No derivation is there here in this question, what I can call topic, Biot-Savart's law. There is no derivation. Biot-Savart's law doesn't have a derivation, have a concept where the law is extended. What is that? Very simple thing. Let me write about that. Let me draw the diagram so that it will be clear for you. I'm repeating this for 3 to 5 marks. 3 to 5 marks topic. State and explain Biot-Savart's law, it is going to come. State and explain Biot-Savart's law anta barutte. Okay, state and explain Biot-Savart's law. So the diagram, irregular shape. Just check it out what I did here. Current carrying wire, and I marked one portion. And I will call that as a length, it is a current element. The current flowing inside is I, and this length element is dl. Current flowing is I and the length element is dl. Try to understand. Let me call this portion as xy. Fine. And this is the length AB, and the center of that is taken to be as O. Now consider the point P. Consider the point P at a distance r from the point P, and it makes the angle theta with it. Try to understand well enough what I am explaining here. Biot-Savart's law, experimental law, giving us information and formula to find out magnetic field at a particular point or a place due to current carrying conductor. Krishna had explained in the beginning of this chapter only, current carrying wire produces the magnetic field around it. Right? So with the help of that concept only, we are going further. Here is the current carrying conductor. We are not considering the total in the beginning. We are considering only the small portion in the middle, and we are naming that length element as AB. Length element is dl. If I talk about the current, it becomes current element. The current flowing in the wire is I. Let us consider the point P at a distance r from the center of your current element, making an angle theta with the wire. Description, which I am not writing on the board, which you need to write for explanation of this law. Okay, Biot-Savart's law. Okay, so this is about that. The small length of the conductor we have considered dl, and the current element ideal we call. So the law states as follows. How the law states? What is the statement of this law? You, after seeing this, you should not ask me that, is this statement, it's coming in the form of some theoretical explanation like, but it is a statement only. Theoretical explanation is nothing but more detailed paragraph once it is not there. It's point wise. I said 4 sentences. Fine. Now what is that sentences? What are those sentences? What is that? Magnetic field at a point P due to this current element ideal, fine, is directly proportional to the magnetic field dB. Let me call it as a small portion of dB. Look at here. Magnetic field dB. Magnetic field dB experienced at point P at a distance r is given by, is, r is enough, okay. So dB is, first point, directly proportional to, so directly proportional to current element, directly proportional to current element. So what is that? Current element, ideal. Fine. First, let us separate them. 4 sentence and the DL nu separate tagombiಡ್ತೀನಿ. Directly proportional to current, electric current, then length element, then directly proportional to angle theta between the wire and that point, and inversely proportional to distance between them. Try to understand. Ideal sin theta by r square is supposed to be proportional to current I in the wire. Second one, directly proportional to length element dl, directly proportional to sine of angle between point P, the line joining point P, line joining point P and wire, or current carrying conductor, you are supposed to write wire. Then fourth one, inversely proportional to distance, square of the distance, sorry for that, square of the distance between current element and point P. Current element and the line joining the point P anta barkonಡ್ರೆ clear ಆಗುತ್ತೇನೋ, line joining the point P anta. Fine. So here between the current element and the line joining the point P. Make it clear? So here law I am talking. Law includes these all. Law nalli idella ide. Okay, adikke 3 to 5 marks sumne barutta. So concentrate. Now combine all. What is happening? dB is directly proportional to I, dB is directly proportional to dl, dB is directly proportional to sine theta, dB is inversely proportional to r square. Fine. So to remove this proportionality sign, I need to write the constant. So k is equal to ideal sine theta by r square. To remove this constant of proportionality, proportional sign ತೆಗೆದ್ವಿ, constant ತೆಗೆದು ಕೂಡ mu naught by 4 pi we are using. Mu naught by 4 pi, this is the common constant used in case of magnetic fields. Ideal sine theta by r square. This is a very important formula that comes as Biot-Savart's law. What is written on the board is clearly for 3 marks, and a little more description what I said orally should be written before to these all, which fetches 5 marks if the question is asked for 5 marks. Make it clear? Okay? I am repeating now. What is Biot-Savart's law? Biot-Savart's law is an experimental law which makes use of current element. It gives the formula for magnetic field at a point P due to current carrying wire or current carrying conductor. Magnetic field due to current carrying conductor. Make it clear? Magnetic field due to current carrying conductor. After writing these all, so you can see what is the meaning of current element. Current element is the product of current and the small segment of the conductor length dl. So ideal is called current element and it's a vector quantity. It's separately asked for 1 mark. Define current element anta keltare. Okay, is the current element scalar or vector anta kuda keltare. Fine. So this is about that what I am saying here. So this gives us the beginning of this, and now the magnetic field experienced by the point P due to this current element d ideal, fine, is small portion of magnetic field dB. The magnetic field dB, yes, the magnetic field dB. that magnetic field dB is directly proportional to current flowing in the conductor. It is directly proportional to length element dl. It is directly proportional to the angle made between line joining the point P from the center of your current element and the current carrying conductor. Inversely proportional to square of the distance between the point P and the center of current element, center of current element. So make it clear, students, what I am saying about. So ishtu sentence nalli bardadmele you are supposed to see over that we are writing in the mathematical formulae. Fine. To make it still lengthier, you can write them separately also. First two, dB is directly proportional to I. Next step, dB is directly proportional to dl. Next step, dB is directly proportional to sine theta. Then next step, dB is directly proportional to 1 by r square. After writing those all, combine like this. After combining, remove this proportionality sign alpha, which looks like alpha, dB. Then just introduce the constant k. Then remove that k also and substitute the value of k is mu naught by 4 pi, and this is your final mu naught by 4 pi. And there is a trick to understand, trick to remember this expression also. Anybody is getting any idea regarding these all? You can just as I explained you in a previous classes, BIL sine theta should be remembered as a Bill sine theta, and force experienced BQE sine theta, then Bill sine theta. BIL is taken as a Bill. So like that only, here one more word can be used to remember. What is that? Anybody is getting idea regarding that? Just check it out. If I say that word, you will laugh, but it will be very much helpful to remember and try to understand. You should not get confused with that pronunciation and the letters writing in this formula or letters written in this formula. What is that? Let us check now. Just I say you to remember idli sine theta. Idli. Why I call it as idli? Ideal. Where is one more I? It is not there. I said no. Just now only I said. The pronunciation is only for understanding and recalling that formula. If you write ideal I, then you will get confusion that what is the meaning of another I. First I is current. The next is DL, that is a length element. What is another I? Miss ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು idli sin theta ಅಂತ ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತು ಆ ಐ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು ಆ ಥರ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ideal sin theta ideal ಅಥವಾ you can just remember like ideal also. What is meaning ideal? Interruption, just got a call from that somebody was in need of laboratory experiments. So just call, see here, because of that call only I got disturbed. Now everything is clear now. So distraction will be not there now. So what I was talking about is this ideal. Ideal meaning. Idol, IDOL, idol means very important. Indian Idol anta kelirtira. Fine, reality show ಹೆಸರು ಐಡಲ್ ಅಂತ ಇತ್ತು. ಐಡಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೂರ್ತಿ ಅಂತಾನೂ ಕೂಡ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಐಡಿಯಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಲೇಜಿ ಅಂತಾನೂ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಫೈನ್. ಸೊ ಐಡಿಯಲ್ ಅಂತಾನೂ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಫೈನ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ I want you to do is remember this term. That's it. Ideal sin theta. It's hange ನೆನ್ಪಿರುತ್ತೆ. No problem, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Ideal sin theta. So what is that? Is this ideal sin theta? ಏನಿದು ideal sin theta? ಕೆಳಗಡೆ r square ಒಂದಿದೆ. Don't forget about that. Ideal sin theta by r square. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಮುಂಚೆ constant ಒಂದಿದೆ. Don't forget about that also. Mu naught by 4 pi ideal sin theta by r square. This is called expression for magnetic field due at a point due to current carrying conductor. Okay, ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ magnetic field? ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸಸ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ. ಎಷ್ಟು ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಲೆಂತ್ ಇಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೀಳುತ್ತೆ. To understand that, here is that derivation, what I can call is law. I'm repeating Biot-Savart's law third time. This is thrice. Thrice I repeated this. Means after finishing this, it will be completed for thrice. I'm repeating for third time now. Biot-Savart's law is an experimental law used to determine magnetic field at a point P due to current carrying conductor. Here we use current element. What is current element? Current element is the product of current flowing in the wire and a small length segment dl of the conductor. Current element is a vector quantity. Here the magnetic field experienced by the magnetic field dB, small portion, is experienced by the point P at a distance r from the center of this current is directly proportional to current flowing in the conductor, directly proportional to length of the segment dl, or length element you can call, directly proportional to angle made between the conductor and the line joining from the center to point P, and inversely proportional to square of the distance between the point P and the center of your current element. Okay, so after writing these sentences, write it in a mathematical formula. That just remove the proportionality sign and introduce that k. Then you are going to see that the k comes to be as mu naught by 4 pi, where mu naught is called magnetic permeability of a free space. Okay, 4 pi is a constant from mathematics, you know, right? So this is about 3 to 5 marks. Is it clear for everyone? I'm asking you only, is it clear for everyone?